If I may make an assumption about your career, that part of you has fought it the whole way, whether fighting going into the theater, I'm going to be a lawyer, you know, whether, you know, being only Anglophile at the National Theatre School, you know, whether being at Stratford and looking at this, or I'm going to sit in a Robin Phillips rehearsal, I'm going to figure out what's going on here. Part of you has always been outside and not resisting, but examining and fighting in a way to try to protect the bottom art underneath. And I think that's sort of what I hear. And I think that is what we encourage in the young designers and the young actors and the young directors and the young writers. You always got to be part of the system, but you've always got to be examining it and fighting it at the same time. And it's only in that collision of good intentions do we actually build and get over some of the slime and the sloth and the mediocrity.
Oh, I think so.
You know?
I would really agree with that. And that's why I say just design the show. Don't have anybody tell you do it cheaply. You
Right.
may not have any money. You may have to think of ideas. You may have to do, you know, the 18th century panniers out of, I don't know, cellophane instead of silk, but won't that be fun, you know?
Yep.
And to have you have to have a sense of fun. I don't lose when I see things sometimes that people create from something that I've thought about. I saw that's the other day. Michelle Prue cut the most amazing costume for me. And I'd kind of thrown him a bunch of things and did a sketch. But I walked into the room and I just went, oh my God, that is so beautiful.
Wow.
It is so funny because it had a little quirky thing. And I said, the actor is going to hate that and it's going to be absolutely right. It's going to hate it. She's going to hate it. We designed it so that she would hate it because she has to hate the costume she's in this scene. And we just laughed and laughed. And there's a joy about the thing about the theater and the thing about film. You are an artist, but it's in collaboration. You are not in your studio painting a portrait. I do that privately. But what I do in the theater, or what I do in film, is I work with a group of artists that I lead. And you have to take responsibility for that. You have to, if they make a mistake, it's your mistake because you haven't guided that, you know? And it's very, very important that you stand up for mistakes, you know, honest mistakes. Don't allow, I'm not nice about, you know, lazy mistakes or stupid mistakes. It's like, you can't do that. It's too much money, it's too much time involved. But we have to be allowed our mistakes in order to grow. And that's with some of the young designers coming in from theater, going into film and going, oh, I thought, you know, well, it's not the way it's done here. But the thing about it always is that design, the word design exists because it's not fine art. Design can transcend and become art, but it's a collaborative art form. If you leave the actor out because of your own ego, you're in big trouble. Nobody's going to hire you, you know? The same with the director. If you ignore the showrunner, you do so at your own jeopardy, because if you don't like that showrunner, it's your responsibility to engage that person in what you're doing creatively, because that person has the overall. So when people go, oh, there's so many people in charge in film and nobody knows what's going on, it's like, well, it's your responsibility to speak to every single one of them and not just put them on a tagline, because that's the difference between being a designer and being a fine artist. If you want to go and just paint and have it in galleries, and it's your work and it's your name and it's your fame, that is fine. But when I stand up and I get an award, I talk about teamwork, and I know that I am representing a whole group of people. It's been under my leadership, it's been for my creative vision, but those people have been the support that I needed, right? I choose them, I support them, you know. but I need them. I am not standing there taking my statue home alone. I'm really not. And it doesn't mean that, I just believe that. And I believe that that's why actors like me, because they know it.
Debra, thank you for this interview. It's been delicious talking to you.
I don't think I made any sense half the time.
There's a lot of great stuff that I want Rebecca, I've chosen that name, in Fort St. George to hear.